watching the Sports Central Showdown.
All right, welcome to the Sports Central Showdown with Graham Metzker and Alex Hutton, butting heads. Guys, today's topic, are the Dodgers bad for baseball? Who's going first?
I'll say I think yes. I think the Dodgers are bad for baseball. Are they ruining baseball? I think it's on the borderline when you've got a team this dominant and has won 2 World Series in a row and then immediately goes out and adds the best hitter and the best reliever on the free agent market. That's getting really tough to compete with. It just feels like at this point everything is inevitably building to just more Dodgers World Series, and for how long these guys are under contract, just feels like discussions of any other baseball team are just a discussion of who gets to lose to the Dodgers. And I'm getting tired of it, and it's frustrating to watch and enjoy baseball in the same way anymore.
Graham, you have a counterpoint?
I do, Alex. Well, if the Dodgers are ruining baseball or getting close to it, like you say, why are we all watching them do it? In 2025, the World Series averaged 15 million plus viewers in the U.S. alone. That made it the most watched since 1992. The 2024 World Series, where the Dodgers were also in it, saw a 7-year high. If the Dodgers are so bad for baseball, we can't seem to look away. I think that the viewership shows that baseball, and thanks to the Dodgers' success, is actually going to a place of success that they've never seen before. And I would also say, Alex, you say it feels like the Dodgers, it's just who's going to lose to the Dodgers. This is a team that has won 2 championships in a row. That is certainly impressive, especially in the modern day of sports and baseball, but it's not unprecedented. We've seen teams go on longer runs of domination than the Dodgers. And I'm going to need to see more before I just say the Dodgers are going to win every single game. Are we not forgetting that last year they were down? They had to claw back against the Blue Jays. If we go back a year before, they were on the verge of elimination from the San Diego Padres. I think it's just a little too soon to say the Dodgers are ruining baseball.
Alex, prove to me you're not just a Dodgers hater. I need some more points to back this up.
Well, when you look at what they're able to do as a team, remember they get an extra $66 million every year from their TV deal because of the settlement from the McCourt bankruptcy. When that happened, that enables them to put so much more money in their team and sign all of these guys and build up this roster together and have all these guys under contract for so many years. And Graham, you mentioned, yes, the World Series was very, very close last year. But with all those breaks and all those bounces, they still didn't lose. They still figured out a way to win basically without having a bullpen. I mean, you saw them pitch their starters in relief pretty much for a lot of those last few games, and they still found a way to win. And this offseason, what did they do? They built up even more of their offense by signing Kyle Tucker. They signed Edwin Diaz, and now you've got someone like Andy Pages, who's maybe on paper the 7th or 8th best hitter on that team, who's already going out and dominating early at this point in the season. That is really tough. And you mentioned it is only a couple of years into this. I say let's check back in 3 years when the Dodgers inevitably win the next 3 World Series, and once they won 5 in a row, and see if they're still tuning in the same way. Yes, people I'll admit, are drawn to Shohei Ohtani, and that's certainly helping. I think the Blue Jays being in the World Series last year helped with that as well, because when Canada unites around that team, that draws a lot of attention as well. But if the Dodgers keep winning this many World Series in a row, I mean, this isn't to say they're doing anything wrong. They're allowed to go after whoever they want and sign people with that money they have. But it is, I think, you might see that some of those fans start to tune out of it a little bit more if it gets even more repetitive than it is right now.
There's a part right there, Alex, that really sticks out to me when we're talking about the way that the Dodgers were able to overcome the Blue Jays. And you're right. It was not the Shohei Ohtanis, the Freddie Freemans, although he made his impact earlier in the series. It wasn't the Mookie Betts. It was the guys that you could have had on your team too that are not on huge deferred contracts. Kike Hernandez, Miguel Rojas, Andy Pages, Will Smith, Will Klein, all these guys homegrown or very, very cheap, none of them on those deferred contracts. And Alex, yes, the Dodgers have a very lucrative media deal right now, but they're not the only ones with deep pockets. We're seeing the Mets and plenty of other teams, the Blue Jays, the Yankees, of course, are spending right next to the Dodgers all the time. When we see the Dodgers add a new piece like Yamamoto a few off seasons back, it came out that the Dodgers actually didn't even offer him the biggest contract. He just chose LA. And if it was not the Dodgers doing this, especially with the deferred money, that's what a lot of people have an issue with, that they can just pay it later, put that on the books for a year to come. It would have come from another team. We're already seeing huge deferrals from other teams as well. I think that the Dodgers are just the face of it, but really you should want your team to act just like the Dodgers are doing. They had an owner that did not support the team to their full capabilities. Now they switched it out, and you're seeing the way that they invest in the team. They also invest back in the fans with all the fantastic giveaways, making it fun to come to Dodgers games. The Dodgers are a story that you should want for your owner as well. You should want the old owner gone, the new one to come in and spend plenty of money on a lot of players. And I think the Dodgers are leading the MLB to where that is more common to be your owner.
Well, you say that the Dodgers do have a lot of interesting, like, homegrown players who help that a lot, and you're right. You know where those players are on other teams. They've been traded because they can't afford to keep them around necessarily, or they need to go out and sign that star player, but they can't afford. They know they'll be outbid by some bigger market team like the Yankees or the Mets or the Dodgers, so they have to trade them for that big player instead. And so the Dodgers, because they don't have to do that, because they can sign all these guys, get to keep all those prospects instead, and that adds to it. And on top of that, even if you think the Dodgers are doing things the right way, and I certainly think there's an argument there, I think it's bad for baseball purely, even indirectly, because what you might see happen now is a lot of those other owners, whether through their own cheapness or just not being able to afford it, are going to now want a salary cap because of how much the Dodgers are able to do, which is going to lead to labor disputes, which could lead to a lockout, which could stop a lot of the momentum that MLB has right now. So I don't think it's really a discussion of, are the Dodgers doing things the right way? I think is the way they're doing things ultimately bad for baseball, even in sort of a trickle-down domino effect kind of way. And I think it could be if we see that lockout in 2027, like a lot of people think there might be.
Alex, I would say that this lockout was coming no matter whether even if the Dodgers did not win these past two championships, this lockout was on the way. The agreement was getting finished up. I would actually argue that the Dodgers have made these issues more prevalent and have actually fast-tracked some of the solutions to this strike. I think it's going to happen no matter what, which is an incredibly unfortunate thing, but we're already having these conversations about salary cap, which I don't think the players will go for. We're having talks about international drafts, which is how the Dodgers have gotten a leg up in the past before. I think the Dodgers are showing the right way to do it. And now that we have these qualms, we can take them into that labor dispute and look to actually continue to improve the league.
Aside from the upcoming potential labor dispute, looking at what the Dodgers have done in terms of creating excitement and storylines, wouldn't you agree that the Dodgers have been one of the best storylines in baseball the last couple of years?
I think that's a fair argument. Certainly with the excitement that Shohei provides and how unique of a player he is, that's going to draw eyeballs. But once again, we go back to this idea of it leads to one team just winning everything. You look at the Dodgers roster and how many star players they have compared to all these other teams. It's unfortunately not even close. And I wish it was more competitive. But like I said, when you were able to sign him to that $700 million contract, once you've already signed all these other all-stars, and then you add more all-stars after that, where he was just kind of he wasn't the turning point for something entirely. He was part of it, but there was all these other factors that goes into it. And I think that has lessened the level of competition throughout the league.
How many free agents do you think have joined the Dodgers because they want to play with Shohei Ohtani? Maybe the question is Shohei Ohtani bad for baseball? And we know that the answer there is definitely not.
Maybe certainly not, but I think when a player that good goes to a team that's already good, it's just stacking more on top of it.
Thank you for saying that, though, Jamie. The fact that we are on the opposite side of a dude that is pitching and hitting at MVP levels and Cy Young levels at the exact same time, that should tell you what side you need to be on.
All right, guys, let's get into our final arguments here. Your fast pitch down the middle, give it to me straight.
I'm actually going to come with a curveball for my last pitch. The real bad guys are not the Dodgers. They're actually the Houston Astros. Yes, when they cheated the Dodgers back in 2017, banging on those trash cans, and the MLB did not bring any proper punishment, everything since then is simply the wrath of the baseball gods.
Whatever way the Dodgers are ruining baseball, it is not nearly ruining baseball the same way or nearly as badly as John Fisher crying poverty and sabotaging his team so he can rip the A's out of Oakland where they belong just to make money and make sure he can hold on to his control of something. As bad as the Dodgers are, that's even worse, and I think we need to call attention to that as well.
I love when we can leave a showdown as friends, Alex.
Of course.
Well, Anyone watching, you guys can say who you agree with in the comment section. Siding with Graham or with Alex, or do you have your own thoughts? Let us know.
You're watching the Sports Central Showdown.